And Staughton has been practicing accompaniment for 30 years. And I've been to Youngstown, and I've been following Staughton to many different places. He's doing this with a great, great success. So the idea, one of the ideas that we are trying to offer with this book, is the idea of accompaniment. I mean, if we are going to build a serious social movement, the only way to do this is to start engaging with working people. Our movement that we had today is mostly middle-class movement. I mean, this is not a problem, but we have to do something about this. Movement of middle-class activists is not enough. It's not a movement. We need to go outside of Berkeley, outside of, in my case, it's Belgrade, Serbia, outside of our comfortable communities, and engage with people who are struggling and creating alternatives in their workplace, in their community, and we're doing this every day and all the time. And if there is any chance of us building one big union or one big movement, this is the only way to do it. So I usually say that, because I'm an anarchist, that the anarchist movement is an absolute catastrophic shape. And I think that I'm actually right, and I'm sad to say that this is the case in Europe as well. So, especially for anarchists, I think that the idea of being with the people, of learning how to, this is a German expression, swim in the sea of the people, must become very real. If we don't do that, another German expression is socialists of the chair. We become socialists of the chair. And we too often are exactly this, armchair or desktop activists and intellectuals, unable to relate to people who are different than ourselves. So the whole third chapter of this book is called, which is called My Country is the World, is about rethinking the way that we are able to relate to people who are not middle class activists or intellectuals. And we were trying with this book, using a lot of history, using a lot of documents, using a lot of anecdotes, and using Staughton's life as a template, to make an argument, and I hope it's a compelling argument, that we need to go back to where Wobblies were in 1905, 1910, to where Haymarket anarchists were back at the end of 19th century. We need to go back to a strong social movement that is actually led and controlled completely by working class people. And this might sound terribly old-fashioned, and in many senses it is. Many ways, we are not talking about gender much, and this is a great problem of the book. We are not talking enough about the different facets of identity. We are not talking enough about identity politics and different ideas that are more contemporary. But we are trying to say, hey, in all of this activity or hyperactivity of the left, especially academic left, in the last couple of decades, class has been completely forgotten. We have to rediscover class as leftists. We cannot go from one form of reductionism, which was a Marxist-Leninist reductionism of the 70s, class reductionism, to different kinds of identity reductionism. We have to rediscover class. We have to rediscover ways of really being able to talk to other people, engaging with them. And before that, we need to have, as leftists, we need to create a community of struggle, not just a movement, a community of struggle that's going to be and become truly a community, where we are going to treat each other as fellow workers, fellow human beings, brothers and sisters. We are going to practice solidarity, because if capitalism developed as a practice of contract, back in days of feudalism, socialism, anarchism, call it whatever you want, can develop only as a practice of solidarity. There is no other way. So in that sense, I think that this book offers few ideas about how we can go about doing it. So at this time, I would like to invite you to a conversation. And thank you again so much for coming to hear this.